Welcome to 5 Things Friday, EU edition. Hello, Alexandra's back. We missed last week. Alexandra, how are you doing?
Hi, Alex. Thanks.
So for those who don't know, my name's Alex. I'm the founder of the Retail Podcast. I help retailers, people who sell to retail, maintain their thought leadership and to do their global conference planning and how they stay relevant in the wonderful world of retail. And I'm joined by my wonderful host, Alexandra. Alexandra.
Thank you, Alex. So I work for Business France, the French Trade Commission in London, and I specialize in retail tech and e-commerce, and I help French retail tech companies expanding in the UK, but also British retailers to find innovative solutions for their business.
Fantastic. So listen, everyone should know the format. We're going to talk about 5 things across Europe that we feel are interesting and share worthy. So why don't we start with you, Alexandra? We'll go to...
Sure. So the first topic today is Intermarché, that has started using an AI-powered tool to generate in-store audio messages. So this is a technology called Alex, been developed by Media Meeting, a company, which lets store teams to create announcements in just a few clicks. So all the staff in store all they have to do is to select the product, the aisle, and the price, and then the AI takes over and they take care of the rest. So it generates a clear, natural sounding message that is played directly in the store. So they have been testing this in 18 stores for a year prior to the rollout. And they have noticed that some products sales increased by over 60%, which is huge, and even outside promotional periods. So this is a really good advantage. But another one is that the staff adoption is also really strong because it's so easy to do and they don't have to make any more of the mic announcement.
Okay, got you. What, does the AI do that for them?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the AI do it. So this is why this tool is being rolled out widely across the network now. And I think this is a really good example of how retailers like Intermarché are using AI in a practical way and not just for show, but to make store operations more responsive and local. And it also gives the teams more control over what they are promoting and when, without relying on centralized marketing. So yeah, I think this is a good example of how AI is being integrated directly into the day-to-day of retail.
Yeah, I think it's incredible how quickly AI is proliferating through, because the way I look at it from a tech perspective, my God, you're having your tech team, the people who have the know-how how to do this has always been the challenge within retail. So you're really reliant on your partner ecosystem. But we've always talked about, how the world would be so much better if you had an app that could do this for you. And here's a wonderful example. Are they're in terms of people who don't know the retailer, they're cross, because I can see they've got grocery, but is it like a department store? What is it? Are they a grocer?
No, it's grocery. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Okay. So my one is about the wonderful European Union. And this is something I think it's probably the most significant shift that's happening in European retail regulations right now. And it affects every single brand marketplace and supplier selling into the EU. On the 9th of July, the European Union officially called for a triple reform. So not one reform, but a triple reform that's going to reshape how products enter and move across borders. First, and I'm hoping people are familiar, and I won't go into it because it will take a lot of time, the digital product passports, which I think is a great initiative where we understand where things come from and the life cycle of the product. They're mandatory identifiers that follow each product's environment, safety and compliance data from manufacturer to end consumer. You can think of it as a digital twin that proves a product's integrity at every stage. The second, they're demanding a full overhaul of the Union Customs Code, which basically means it gives stronger tools and data visibility, and platforms, more importantly, can be held liable as deemed importers, and the EU's new customs data hub will link everything. So customs, product, safety, and market surveillance, which again is quite significant. And then the third one, which I think for a lot of maybe UK companies that export, is that they want to abolish the 150 euro customs duty exemption for low value imports. That threshold has been a sort of a backdoor for non-compliant goods, especially from places such in Asia or China. And in fact, in 2024, 4.6 billion packages entered the EU underneath that exception. So it's not a small loophole that one or two people know about. It's a big loophole that's exploited. And again, all of those goods came from one specific region. And now the EU is sort of saying enough is enough. We need to get this open. It's about creating a level playing field, protecting the customers, restoring trust in cross-border sales. So if you're a retailer in logistics, the enforcement is coming, and it's coming fast.
Yeah, and also to add on this, trust is what is really important here, and this is why the digital product passport is very important, because it gives transparency on where the origin of the products, the materials used, all the logistics behind it. And this is something that retailers want to know from the brands, but also consumers also want to have access to this data. So I think by 2027, this is going to be interesting to see what is put in place around that.
There's a fantastic case of, I think it's actually called Trust Place, right? They're a French startup.
Yes.
Oh, I had them as a guest, and they're part of your French pavilion. So a little plug. They've been
There
guests
are
on
lots.
the podcast.
Yeah, we see a lot of more and more companies in that space, not just in France, but also
In the UK, I remember.
Yeah, there's many of them. Yeah.
So over to you.
Yeah, so the second topic is about Carrefour Belgium, that has opened fully autonomous AI-powered Microstore inside an Ibis-style hotel near Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport.
Yeah.
So this is called Bye Bye, and this is only 6 square meters, which gives hotel guests 24/7 access to breakfast, lunch, and snacks with no staff needed. So it works via smart fridges, and all you have to do is unlock the fridge with a bank card or an app. You can grab what you want, and then the system automatically recognizes, weights, and charges the items. So this was already in place in Carrefour's headquarters and in a NATO base in Belgium, but this is the first time that we are seeing this type of format tested in a hotel. So I think it's another good example of how retailers are using AI to diversify their offer and try new formats. And it makes sense in places where timing is unpredictable, like hotels, airports, train stations, and it goes beyond the usual vending machine. So these are micro stores where you can have a smoother, more intuitive experience, like a shop with a broader range of products available around the clock with no staff needed.
Back to me. So this is from Nexi. They produced a report earlier this month called the eCommerce Report 2024 Europe. What's really interesting, a quarter of shoppers said that they shop online because it's simpler. But the big thing that I think retailers across the world struggle with is how in Europe there are so many varying different shopping behaviors, specifically online. When you look at the delivery habits split in the map between 67% of Polish consumers and only half of Nordic consumers prefer, for example, picking up at lockers. I don't like to pick up at locker, but in some regions they absolutely do. And in Germany, Austria, and Italy, home delivery still dominate. Where the money is going and where the money is being spent, again, looking at places like Poland and Denmark, they lead in buying physical goods. So around 59% is spent. Germany spends big on travel. And in Switzerland, 23% of online spend goes to services. I don't know what that says about the Swiss, but maybe they're more trusting in getting services online. The one thing that I think is no surprise is the categories. Obviously, 47% are still clothes, 28% shoes, and 27% beauty. If we zoom out here, you need to think about your packaging in terms of making it the right package for the right delivery experience. Offer different ways to pay because different consumers in different geographies want different payment options. That is the research by Nexi. Back over to you for our final one.
Yes, and nice transition, because you were saying that more shoppers are shopping online, but this one is about going back physical for low cost brand called Lefties. So the Inditex group, the parent company of Zara, is bringing back its low cost brand Lefties back to France with the first store planned by 2026. So they have already tried to enter France before, over a decade ago, but this comeback arrives as the demand for ultra low cost fashion surges in France, but everywhere else in Europe.
Yeah.
Especially among the younger shoppers, and the growing competition from Shein or Primark.
Yep.
So the goal is to compete with these fast fashion giants. And Lefties was originally the Zara outlet, but since it has evolved into a standalone brand with its own collections and low prices, and it is already present in 18 countries and has a really strong presence in Spain and Portugal. So what is interesting here is it's not just about the return of Lefties in France, it's the timing. Because Shein, Primark, for example, Shein is dominating online and Primark more offline, I mean in France at least, and Lefties is now betting on physical retail too, to offer low prices and in-person experience. So
Yeah.
it's a clear signal that even in fast fashion, physical retail still has a strategic role to play. However, I believe that from a sustainable perspective, it encourages impulsive buying habits at a time where we know the environmental costs of fast fashion, and it is well known. I find it a bit disappointing to see that instead of shifting toward more sustainable models, big players like Inditex still continue to double down on volume and speed, encourage and they just encourage fast fashion.
Yeah, I think it's really hard. I am completely with you. And I think Inditex as a whole right now is not on the right side of consumer behavior. What they're on the side of is making as much possible money and displacing their competition, because Primark is doing a phenomenal job of, in certain markets and categories such as fashion, such as bringing, taking a little bit of market share. And this is, Inditex's way of trying to, because I went to the pop-up that they had in Madrid. It was cross-category. They had children's wear, they had homeware. And so they're obviously trying to claw back market share from the likes of Primark. But as you said, I think it's on the wrong side of consumer consciousness. We don't need more fast fashion. We need more conscious fashion right now. And this is commercial capitalism at its best, trying to outdo your partners and then taking your offering to them. Because as you said right at the beginning, Lefties was an outlet for Zara goods, right? That made so much sense. Instead of sending it to landfill, send it to discount and discount that. But they seem to be coming away from that and creating this brand on itself, which is
because price is more interesting for consumers now.
Yeah, I look, the latest statistics for the UK is that inflation or costs of goods are going to go up still, which people are going to go, hang on a minute, inflation has gone down. Why are cost of goods coming up? And people will look to brands like Lefties but Primark's got such a stronghold in the UK, specifically UK and Ireland. It's going to be a tough one for them. But I do see a lot of retailers also who had expansion plans, such as Carrefour in Italy, retrenching out of Italy and going back to their core markets. So I don't know if this is an experimentation to see if they can make it work. They've had a great track record of making things work, but maybe this is an experiment that they're going to see how they can do. And let's see what the consumer says. The consumer always, well, they say the customer's always right. So anyway, on that bombshell, to thank you, Alexandra. It's lovely, lovely, lovely to have you back. I had to say it 3 times, not once. I look forward to filming with you next week.
Thank you, Alex.
It was an absolute pleasure.